Quad Cortex or Nano Cortex, or how about both? In today's video, I'm going to go over reasons why it's beneficial to own both the Quad Cortex and the little brother Nano Cortex. Both of these devices are really powerful systems and can be used in different situations depending on what your needs are and what shows you're playing. Let's get the super obvious thing out of the way right at the beginning. If you only have budget for one of these systems, obviously do what works best for you and your needs. However, in this video, I'm going over 6 different reasons that are beneficial to have both of these units, especially if you already own one or the other and you're familiar with how it works and you're familiar with the Cortex ecosystem. There's different situations why you might want to use one or the other. And one of the things that's really cool about this is that both of these units are capable of doing neural capture. So you can take your tones from the Quad Cortex and capture them onto the Nano Cortex. That way you can bring your tones to different shows, and that way you just have to bring the smaller one if the situation is right for it. I do want to say many thanks to Sweetwater for sponsoring this video. Just as always, all the opinions in this video are my own. Also check out the Sweetwater deals page, which I'll link to down below, where you can get a bunch of deals on great gear. And I'll also link to some of the accessories for the Quad Cortex and the Nano Cortex down below as well. Once again, thanks to Sweetwater for sponsoring the video. That's enough of the intro. Consider subscribing if you're not already subscribed, and let's go ahead and get started. So reason number 1 why it's valuable to have both. This is your main rig. This is your spare rig. And actually, when this video comes out, when I'm scheduling this video, if everything has gone right and something hasn't gone horribly wrong, I should be in Croatia right now. I will be in these countries for the next 2 weeks. So if you do live in Europe and you can come to any of these shows, please come by and say hi. I'd love to meet some of you on tour. But that's exactly how I'm going to be using this. The Quad Cortex is going to be my main rig, and I'm going to have the Nano Cortex with me in case if something goes wrong. Quad Cortex is the main rig, Nano is the spare rig. It's good practice just to have spare equipment when you are performing live. Stuff breaks on the road or at shows. If something goes wrong with your Quad Cortex, you have the Nano Cortex available as a backup, and it's very easy to change them out, especially if you use neural capture. You can get your same tones and switch them out very quickly. You might ask, well, why not have 2 Quad Cortexes? And sure, of course, if you can afford that, that's awesome. Sweetwater actually sells a redundancy rig. That's definitely a great option if you can afford it. But the spare, in my opinion, should be for emergencies, and it should be a lot more portable and not take up a whole lot of room, because you should only need to use it in an emergency. So it's really nice to have something that's small and portable in a just-in-case situation. If you already own the Quad Cortex, the Nano Cortex fits perfectly for that reason. It's tiny, it's portable, you understand the ecosystem of the Quad Cortex, so you should understand how to use this. Plus of the neural captures, you can have your tones in a tiny box if you need it. And also, even not just for you, it can also be for your bandmates if something goes wrong, or if someone else's gear malfunctions. So when your other guitarist has his amp fry, you know, the other guitarist who is only tube amps and only Mugami cable guy, when his amp fries, you have something for him to try, and then maybe you can show him how powerful the Cortex ecosystem is. So the next reason why you might want to use both is that the Quad Cortex could be your main rig, and then the Nano Cortex could be your practice rig or your writing rig. So oftentimes either the Quad Cortex is going to be in your pedal board, or what a lot of people do, including myself, is I'll have this in like a rack, and then you can send MIDI messages to it, and then you can actually perform live without having to pedal dance. If you play to like click and backing tracks, you can turn on the boost and the delay when your solo kicks in, and then you can go to a heavy reverb clean patch during the bridge, and so on and so forth. You can focus on performing. I have videos going over how to program MIDI. I don't have one specifically on the Quad Cortex, so if you do want one, leave a comment down below. If you have a setup like that, or if it's in your pedal board, but especially if you have a rig like that, it's kind of annoying to have to take it out of the rack, get everything disconnected, detach everything just to get your Quad Cortex out so you can practice or write or whatever you want to do. It's a lot easier to just leave the Quad Cortex in your rack or in your pedal board, and then your Nano Cortex goes with you for practicing or for riff writing or whatever you want to do, because this can also be connected to your computer and used basically as an audio interface as well. Quad Cortex is the live rig. You use the Nano Cortex at home or for practice and warm-ups in the green room, or you could use it to write with, and that's what's really nice about the Quad Cortex, that it's powered with USB-C, so it's a lot more portable as well. It's nice to have just this available with your tones, and you can just practice and write with that. Some of you might say that's lazy, but I don't know. Let me know in the comment section if you're the same way. If I have to like attach stuff and get everything plugged in and take it out of a pedal board and get it connected, I'm less motivated when it's just like, okay, just plug in, this thing is already ready to go, and now I'm ready to practice or write or whatever I want to do. This third reason kind of ties into the first one, but I still think it deserves its own category, so maybe you could call this 5.5 reasons why to own both. Quad Cortex as your main rig, and then the Nano Cortex is for your side gigs. I'm a full-time musician. On top of the main bands that I play with, I also get hired to play with multiple different bands as well. This tour that I'm on, when this video comes out, that was a band that hired me to go on tour with them. I'll get hired for either either covers or for original music. It just depends on the gig. Spiral Cell is my original music. That's music that I wrote, and it's just me. I also play another band called Lola Black, but I didn't write any of the music in that band. But those are original projects. With Spiral Cell, since I wrote it, I'm definitely very passionate about getting the right tones for the shows. I really love the Pliny X plugin. That's one of my favorite plugins. It's probably my favorite plugin, and that is available on the Quad Cortex, which is really cool. I have multiple different types of tones that I need for that show.
That must have happened sometime after I left.
I can't see it now.
Soothing ocean waves. Welcome back.
Why would they even ask me? Don't you have tests for this or something? I don't know what else I can tell them that I haven't already. I told you they needed my help. What? That must have happened sometime after I left. Why aren't you talking to them then? But they're lying.
And here's some live footage of tones that I need just to show you what I mean with needing different tones for this project. And then when I perform with Lola Black, I really like the Gojira and the Soldano plugins. Those are such good, like, just heavy tones. With Spiral Cell, it is all MIDI mapped. Everything is MIDI mapped. I don't have to touch my pedals. Everything is MIDI mapped. I play to a click. With Lola Black, we do play to a click track, but we do not have MIDI sending messages to our pedal board, so I do have to trigger that myself. So that kind of ties back in with what I'm talking about earlier already. However, when I do cover gigs, most cover gigs, if I'm doing like a corporate event or a wedding or whatever, as a full-time musician, those are the gigs that pay the most. So it is nice to have those. Anyone who's done them knows it can kind of be a little draining. Some of them can be really fun, some of them aren't. That's the way it goes when you gig. But I'll be honest, I'm not as picky about my tones when I do those gigs. I am not saying that the Quad Cortex doesn't sound phenomenal. It really does. What I mean is that I have easy access to 4 different tones on the Quad Cortex. If you give me a clean, a slight breakup overdrive, a rhythm distortion, and a lead patch, I'm happy. I'm much more passionate about making my music sound the way I want. I'm not really particular about, I really have to dial in this tone for Footloose. Some people might take offense to that. Do what you want to do what you enjoy. Every musician should do what they enjoy. I'm just telling you where I come from personally. When you do original music, it's definitely a little bit more personal, so I want to dial in my tones a little bit more. And I want access to like all of those different sounds. With covers, give me those 4 presets and I'm happy. But Nano Cortex can get those 4 tones, and I'm very happy with those. Something like this takes up less stage space, it's easier to set up, but even if you don't have the same philosophy as I do, having your main rig and then your side gig rig can also be very helpful and a reason to own both. All right, reason number 4, bigger shows versus smaller shows or shows where you're worried about your gear getting damaged. We all post the pictures and videos of our big shows that we play on Instagram and our Facebook covers and stuff like that. I'm guilty of this. I think we all are. But as most of you know, that is not the reality. Sometimes you're playing for 3 drunk people at the end of the night who want you to only play their list of Foghat B-sides. That's the way that it goes. Now, both of these products are built very well. They're built like a tank for sure. Especially with the Quad Cortex though, you know, it has a touch screen. If that gets damaged, that's definitely a big risk, and it's much more expensive. So those shows where I'm worried about the guy who's going to spill his old fashioned all over my gear, it might be worth it in that case to bring the smaller device. Obviously, I don't want this thing damaged as well, but it's also like a third the price to repair this one as opposed to the Quad Cortex. I mean, even at like really fun shows as well. Here's some footage of my 90s band, 90% 90s. We play at this place called Scruffy Murphy's in Denver quite often. This was on St. Patty's Day. It's always a lot of fun. But at that show, I mean, the stage is, you know, like 1.5 feet off of the ground. The number of people that have held like a drink like right by me, and you know, the more they drink, they're about to spill stuff all over the stage, or people who come up on the stage because they think they can with a full beer in their hand. That's part of your risk of gear getting damaged when you do shows like that. They can be a lot of fun. That's just part of being a full-time musician. There was one show I could think of in particular where we played the Harry Potter Beer Festival. It's a pretty fun show. They started bringing people up on the stage to do some Harry Potter stuff from the movie. And this one person had butterbeer and they tripped and they spilled it all over our drummer's kit. It was the stickiest beer in the world. It was such a pain. That's the reality of some of the gigs that we play. When you play the big festival stages, stuff like that, you can bring the full Quad Cortex. Other gigs where you're worried about it, reduce your stress level, and you can bring the smaller one. Reason number 5, Quad Cortex for shows at home, and then the Nano Cortex for fly dates. Quad Cortex is unbelievably powerful. I mean, they did a great job making it somewhat compact. You know, that's still insane how much power is in this device right here, but not nearly as portable as this device right here. I mean, look at the difference. The Nano isn't even the size of the touch screen of the Quad Cortex. That's how portable the Nano Cortex is. It's so much easier to throw this in a backpack or a gig bag or your guitar case or something like that. Traveling with this thing is much, much easier. And just beyond the traveling and how easy and compact it is, having to travel with gear and dealing with TSA especially is always stressful. I have a video going over some of my experiences and some of the horror stories that I've had, but I have had gear stolen out of my checked bag before, and I have had TSA just randomly want to throw away stuff. One of the scariest ones was when I was in Qatar in the Middle East. They took my in-ear monitor pack, and the guy like looked at it and he kind of twisted the knob to turn it on and like went over to his superior, and I was like, this guy's about to throw away my in-ear monitor system. There's nothing I can do. Fortunately, he came back and he gave it to me and just kind of shrugged and let me go. But the lack of knowledge of what these products are with the TSA can always be stressful. Some of them are nice, some of them are, but you know, if you've dealt with a bad one, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Bring something more compact and less expensive when you travel. It would suck if this got damaged or lost, but not as bad if you lost the big thing that costs 3 times the price. And I know before someone says it in the first one, I am traveling with the Quad Cortex with this as my backup. And I am worried about it. I'm not going to lie. I'm filming this before I'm out there. I'm already worried about bringing this with me on tour. Make the decision that's right for you. Some of these will apply to you. Some of them won't. I'm just giving you options and you can apply this to what fits your needs personally. But traveling with the Nano Cortex as opposed to the Big Brother can give you a little bit of peace of mind. And the reason number 6, this doesn't apply to me personally. Some people don't like to go completely direct. I've personally decided to go completely direct. I love it. I have a video going over why I did. Every musician is different. Embrace what you want to do. Do what you enjoy doing. You could use the Quad Cortex when you have to do a gig that's all in one. That's your all-in-one rig, your amp modeling and all of your effects. And then you can put like the Nano Cortex on your pedal board or something like that. And you can have like 4 different special effects that you want and still use it with an amp. Or you could also just use the Quad Cortex as a multi-effect processor, turn off all the amp modeling and cabinets and stuff like that in here. Just use the effects in here and then use it with an amp as well. And then you could use the Nano Cortex with just like a pedal board with a bunch of different individual effects if you still like your individual pedals and stuff like that. Again, everyone's different. I'm just giving you suggestions. I personally have committed to going fully digital. I have a video going over why, but make the decision that's right for you and your needs. Those are the 6 reasons why it's beneficial to have both of them, especially if you're familiar with the ecosystem, especially if you're familiar with how one works, whether it's for small gigs, travel gigs, the convenience of not having to take stuff out of a rack or out of a pedal board. Whatever the reason, it is really nice to have both because both of them are very powerful and both of them are possible to use in different situations. And one of the best ways to capture your tone is using neural capture, and Neural DSP does have a video tutorial showing you how to do that process on their YouTube channel. I will link to that video up above and down below in the description if you want to figure out how to do that. So I hope you guys found this video helpful. If you did, do me a favor and hit the thumbs up button. It's a great way to support the channel and no extra cost to you. Once again, many thanks to Sweetwater for sponsoring the video. I will have links to purchase all of these as well as some Quad Cortex accessories down below in the description where you can get those from Sweetwater. I do have a video doing a full overview of the Quad Cortex, so if you are interested in that, even if you've been a long-time user, you might learn something new in that video. You can check out that video. I don't have one currently on the Nano Cortex. Let me know in the comments if you want me to do a full breakdown of the Nano Cortex as well. And you can also watch my video video on why I sold all my guitar amps and I've committed to going fully digital. You can check out both of those videos by clicking the links on your screen now. Thank you guys again for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Don't forget to follow me on my social media pages at Scott Yule Music. If you're in Europe and any of those tour dates, please come by and say hi. Many thanks to Sweetwater for sponsoring the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.